It's the JT the Brick Show.
This is the Silver and Black. This is the Raiders. This is a historic franchise. This is no ordinary job.
Your Silver and Black home to sound off for over 25 years.
I don't care if I offend somebody. If it isn't right, I'm going to stop practice. We're going to do it the right way.
And now, here's JT the Brick.
Out of the gate, JT, we're ready to roll today. It is a Modelo Friday. Modelo. I reward myself with a bucket of Modelos every Friday, and you better believe it. We're going to do that also here today. Problem is, USA Soccer is on right now. I should be in a sports bar drinking Modelos, but I'm not. I'm here for the people. The people of the nation, the Raider Nation. Man, these soccer games start on time. If this was an NBA game and they said it was at noon or whatever, it started like 12:28 with the anthem and everything else. This game starts right now. USA, Australia. This game is being played in Seattle, home of the Seahawks, the World Championship Seahawks. No Christian Pulisic. He has a calf injury. He will not be able to go. So if you're watching the game, get in our chat. We're live on YouTube. You can see what we're doing here today, live and in person on YouTube at JT the Brick YT. It's a live video stream and audio stream of the show, and it's kind of where I park the video podcast portion of this. Yes, Wyndham Clark separating himself from the pack at 7 under at the United States Open. Even Americans don't like him. A lot of Americans don't like Wyndham Clark. It's weird. You know what I say? Anybody but the Euros. We can't have any European winning. Anyone international winning are United States national championships. So if it ends up being Wyndham Clark, I'm fine with that. Scotty Scheffler is going for the career Grand Slam, so we'll dive into that. But I hope you're doing well. Our guest today, we're going to have Chris Matthews, the Dean of the Newsmen from 8 News Now. He'll join us at the bottom of the hour. And the great Johnny Katz, John Katsalamidis, the entertainment reporter of record here in Vegas, and he's going to tell us about Kenny Chesney coming back to Sphere and what that's going to look like. Metallica is coming to Sphere and what the landscape of Vegas looks like, because, ladies and gentlemen, this is the type of time of year where we bake like potatoes. This is the time of year where you should not be here. Unless you have a really important job, you're a caregiver, you're a doctor, you're someone who saves us on the roadways, you're an emergency worker, of course. But anybody else who have the ability to get out of here, get out of here. Unless you're a swim-up bottle service gal at one of these resorts where you make $2,000 a day cash, letting guys swim up to you and buy bottles that normally would cost $18 at Lee's Liquor, but some of these guys pay $1,800 for one bottle because they want to be at a pool party. So that's where we're at today at Summertime Radio. Man, we kicked off Summertime Radio yesterday with Phil Villapiano. He did a half hour with us, 25 minutes on his new book, Just Tackle, which was really cool. We had Hagen Smith in studio, a pro beach volleyball player. I'm going to head to Resorts World this weekend and watch a little beach volleyball. So we had a good week, man. It's good to be back after my Knicks have won the championship. They had that parade yesterday. I'm going to play a homage to my Knicks a little bit later on in the show. And also, a little programming alert. This morning I was in here for a sales meeting, as our Wi-Fi just went out, Colin, which is appropriate because our Wi-Fi satellite is probably 190 degrees right now as we are back. I was on the morning show today with Vince and Vinny, and we'll play that segment. I thought it was pretty good. Those guys were great. They allowed me to sit in on their show, and it was my comments on Fernando Mendoza and everybody else, so I'm going to play that a little bit later on in the show. So, like to hear from you. You've been light on the phones this week. I don't know if you're light in the gym, if you're light in the wallet, if you're light anywhere else, but when you're light on the phones with me, I take it very personal because I was the greatest caller in the country at one point. I like taking phone calls. I like hearing from fans, and when I don't, I feel like I'm a performer. Instead of playing at Allegiant Stadium, I'm playing at a Starbucks with about 4 Summerlin housewives there. That doesn't work for me and my vibe. So if you want to get in here, the number is always available, 702-365-9200. 9200, 702-365-9200 as we try to get our stream up and running for you on the radio and everywhere else between. I don't know why we don't have Wi-Fi because it's 2026, and I had a great week with SpaceX, wink, wink, and this will not be a problem with Elon. I can promise you with that. No Wi-Fi. I don't need to troubleshoot why my Wi-Fi isn't available right now, but I digress. We'll get that fixed here as soon as we can and get the show going. So here's what I wanted to talk about today. We have this Fernando Mendoza soundbite. It was from Behind the Shield. As you know, Behind the Shield is what the Raiders do at Silver and Black Productions, and they do a great job, and they bring you all the behind the scenes of the Raiders. And I think everybody was really excited to see the fact that it was great. I mean, unbelievable that Fernando got the call from Tom Brady, and he was very excited about that. Here's a little bit from the recent edition of Behind the Shield. Do we have this ready to go? Here is Fernando Mendoza.
Fernando, how you doing? Good to see you. Great to see you guys. Thank you guys. Come on, say hi. Oh shoot! What's up, Mr. Brady? How you doing? Or Tom? How you doing?
Mr. Brady's my dad.
Yeah, love it. How you doing?
Good, man.
Great. I'm blessed here at the Combine right now. While we get this interview going. I'm great. Ready for the opportunity.
Good. All right. Well, enjoy everybody. I just want to say hi and good luck on everything and just keep being yourself, man. You're doing a great job.
Appreciate it. Thank you. God bless.
Yeah. Same here, babe. Take care. We'll see you soon.
All right, so that was Tom Brady and Mendoza at the Combine, and that went viral. A lot of people picked that up because it solves a couple of things. Here's what it does. First off, it shows you that Mendoza is humble, which is really important because a lot of first overall quarterbacks are not humble, i.e. Jamarcus Russell when he came to the league with 2 cell phones and, just acting a fool, right? This guy's very humble. He called him Mr. Brady. Secondly, we also found out that Tom Brady heavily involved. A lot of people are trying to figure out how involved Tom Brady is. You will never know. You will never know how involved Tom Brady is because no one will ever know. You don't know how often he's on the phone with John Spytek. You don't know how often he's on the phone with Mark Davis. You don't know how often he's going to be at practice or not or be in the building. You will never know how involved Tom Brady's going to be. But let me tell you, from being in the building, he's really involved with every aspect of this. So the humbleness of Mendoza, the diligence of Tom Brady, and how they're going to get everybody involved with this is going to be really unique. Because as I told the guys in the morning, this now begins a journey. And as I picked up this week by telling you, this is the beginning of a new journey. Every year I come in here and I sell hope. I sell hope. As a team employee, I'm not a guy saying it's going to suck. I'm a guy hoping it gets better. I don't regret anything I've ever said about this team trying to get better or thinking they were going to get better. I don't regret getting behind every coach who got the job and saying, Coach, you have my full support. That'll never happen. That'll never happen that I'll say I denied that or I won't do that. This time it feels different, but it felt different with Pete Carroll because Pete Carroll had tremendous energy for a guy who was 73 years old and was going to make his last stop and try to return this team to glory. It didn't work. Shocking it didn't work. Shocking how badly it went when it could have been good. It wasn't going to be great. They didn't have the players. But it should have been better. We all agree, and it didn't work. So they throw out the bathwater. They come back, and they have a new coaching staff, and everyone seems to be on the same page. Who's everyone? Raider Nation, national media, local media, because it's Glenn Kubiak, another humble guy, another guy who just wants to do ball. Talk ball and run practice. I told you I talked to Fred Biletnikoff, the legend, this week, and he was out of practice, a couple of practices, and he just said, play football. They're playing football. That's what we need to get back to. Playing football. Just go out there. You don't have to have any high fives. You don't have to get inside a bubble and twirl around. You don't have to shoot jump shots after practice. You don't have to have a swimming race in the outdoor pool. You don't have to compete that way. Just show up, play ball. Stay healthy, be in shape. Play like a Raider. Play like a Raider, and I think everything will work out. So that's been the big storyline this week. Play like a Raider, show up, don't get too high, don't get too low. But Clint Kubiak made it pretty clear that he wants everybody back here in shape. Everybody back here in shape. There's a number of players that are staying back in Henderson who are going to be working out here full time. This off part, most of them should go on vacation. Most of them should play golf. Most of them should be with their wives and partners traveling and getting away because they're not going to be able to get away. And due to this schedule, it's a unique schedule. It's the same schedule the whole year. Games are just on Sunday at 1:05 or 1:25. No Thursday, no Monday, no Sunday night. Monday Night Football, none of it. And I'm pretty pissed off about that, as I tell you. I think it's a slap in the face to the Raiders, but 5 total teams. 5 teams in the league are in the same boat as the Raiders without any national games. So it's going to be pretty easy in regards to their body and conditioning. The only problem I see is the bye week is until week 13, and that's a long bye week away. That's really long. That's not good for anybody. Because by the time they get to bye week in week 13, the season's going to either be over, which I hope isn't the case. I think they could be in playoff contention. Or they get it, but it's week 13, and it's after Thanksgiving, and it's just a crappy bye week. It's a garbage bye week. Week 13 is about as bad as you can get. You don't want a bye week 5, and you don't want one week 13. Did the U.S. score? Wow, we have scored. The United States have scored. USA, USA, USA. The United States of America is on the board 1-0. 1-0 up in Seattle. 1-0, 10 minutes in. 10 minutes into this game, the United States gets a goal. Fantastic. The coach is excited. The crowd is going crazy with the standing ovation. The weather is glorious. USA strong. The United States are on the board. Man, it takes a while, Colin, to get a highlight here. I don't know why they're not turning this around. Here it comes. As the United States was behind. They were at the midway point of the pitch. A nice relief pass down the sideline on the side, just a nice centering pass goal. Beautiful play. They get the referee camera as the referee was running on a great cross, kind of like a 2-on-1 here down the stretch. So the United States, USA strong, is up 1-0. Man, they look good. Again, Australia is not great. Oh, it was an own goal. Oh, my God. They didn't score. Australia kicked it into the net. Oh, no, a self-goal. Oh, no. Protect that young man from Australia. Get him a police escort. Well, Australia, they're nice people there. I've been to Australia. They're nice. If that happened in Argentina, or if that happened in another part of the world, Nicaragua, if that happened somewhere else, Uruguay, and someone kicked the ball into their own net, good luck with that. But an own goal, amazing, man. That's like in hockey. What I hate about hockey, I don't hate it, but my dad doesn't watch hockey because all the pucks that go in deflected off someone's skate, that sucks. But sometimes it's the only way to score. You throw it in front, and that's what USA did. USA 1-0 as we are underway. We're ready to go there. So on the Raiders front, I wanted to talk to you because I talked about it with the morning show. We don't know when Mendoza is going to start. I'm not going early on June 19th. I'm not going big with when's Mendoza going to play. I could rank chicken wing joints top 10 and would be better radio than that. I just think here when we look at when he's going to play, I think it's going to be all based on Cousins' first 3 games. If Cousins goes 2-1, Cousins plays from the 3rd game to about the 6th. If Cousins goes 3-3, he plays from the 6th game to the 8th game. The only way Cousins will be off the field is if it's an epic disaster. That would be 0-3, or that would be 1-4, and no one wants that. No one wants that. So we're all rooting for Cousins to play well because we're Raider fans. We want to win. And everybody who wants to see Mendoza get in doesn't want to see him get in too early. But when I talked to Vinny on the air earlier today, you'll hear it later. Vinny made it pretty clear that there's a lot of people in the Raider building. A lot of people in the Raider building that believe Mendoza's competing to start week 1. That's the way they have this thing set up. It's set up with full competition. So that's something I wanted to jump into as we open up the show. The Vegas Golden Knights have a brand new head coach, which I think is really important. I'd like to hear some hockey fans that I've been asking for this week, and I've been shut out from hockey fans because when hockey ends in Vegas, oh boy, does it end. high school softball is a bigger topic in Vegas than the Golden Knights when the Golden Knights are out. So I'd like to see some hockey fans that want to talk about a new time, a new coach, because whenever you make a hire of a new coach, that coach has to win. You know, you can say whatever you want about getting a new coach and if it's good or not, if you feel it's a good fit. Doesn't matter. You can have Tortorella, you could have Gerard Gallant, you could have Peter DeBoer, whoever you want. If you don't win, you're out of here. You're out of here. And the same can be said with the Raiders, too. The Raiders have hired a lot of coaches recently, and the only reason why they're not here, any of them, they don't win. They don't win. Nice guys that could have been here for a while. And quickly Mark's had to pull the trigger and say, man, I didn't think it was going to be this bad. You guys told me it was going to be good or better, and it's so bad I got to fire you. Same exact thing when it comes to hockey and what this hockey team is doing. I love that in sports. I love when you have an owner who will do anything to improve the team. Not get overly involved, not get crazy, but always try to upgrade the team and go out there and make additions that are very important. So Ryan Craig, who we will be getting on the radio here hopefully in the next couple of days or next week, we'll have him on here. We'll welcome him to Las Vegas, and hopefully this will turn things around. It's pretty good. I don't think Ryan Craig's going to get fired if he doesn't make the Stanley Cup final, but he better make the playoffs. And he's going to have to win and make the playoffs because we are a very finicky town. We are very finicky. And our season ticket holders who have had hockey season tickets since the Fortress opened, they are used to a level. They're used to a level of winning that you want to have, but when they're not winning, it could be really dicey around what's going to happen here. So that's it. That's part of the monologue. I'd like to hear from you, 702-365-9200. Oh, and happy Father's Day. I do this every year. I'm on the radio Sunday from 9 a.m. to 1 on Father's Day. And here's going to be the topic, but I'm going to move it up. I'm going to move it up to today because I won't be on here on Sunday. What impact has your father had on your life in sports? Hits home, right? What impact has your father had on you in sports? Good day to make a father's call. If your father's no longer with us, if he's deceased, you miss your dad, Father's Day's got to be really tough. Just saw my dad last week, 88 years old, heart pumping, excited. He's getting ready for his first great-grandson. My nephew and his bride are going to have their first baby, and my family is just ecstatic that my mom and dad are going to have a great-grandson. So that, my dad's had the biggest influence on my life. What was your dad's influence on you? Did he take you to games? Was he a season ticket holder? Did he coach? Did you like the same team your dad liked? Did you butt heads with him? But I want to hear some positive stories about your dad today because that's good radio. And Father's Day, right? I don't do a lot of low-hanging fruit, but dads aren't low-hanging fruit. Dads are like the most pinnacle things in our lives for most of us. What impact did your dad have to get you to where you are today? If you're listening to sports radio, I'm assuming you're a sports radio fan. You're a fan of sports and radio, and maybe your dad had an impact on that. My dad coached every game I ever played as a kid. My dad was the guy who taught me how to keep score, taught me how to read box scores, was there for me and the millions of conversations we had about sports. Most important was driving home from games, win or lose, sitting in the front seat with my dad. Normally I didn't. My mom would sit in the front seat. But when we came back from a sporting event, I'd sit up front with my dad. And my dad was great as a coach because if we had a bad game, he didn't yell. If I had a bad game, he didn't shame me. My dad was good. He knew when to cut it off. My dad knew when, hey, this is sports. Now we're home at the kitchen table, and we're not going to sit here and talk about you missing a tag as a catcher or you throwing the ball over second base. None of that. It all just ended, even though he would coach me hard. So dads are the topic of today on top of everything I'm doing. 702-365-9200. Colin, plug the phones back in. Sometimes they lock them, and we got to unplug them here to wake people up. Man, you wonder why I look to take off in the summer. Let's get rolling here. USA won on a goal from some mate from Australia, kicked the ball into his own net. I don't know how you could do that and be a pro or play in the World Cup and kick the ball in your own net. I don't know how you do that when you see the ball coming across the mouth of the goal, kind of like Get your foot out of the way if you're going to kick it in. There's a goalie right there who can stop it. 1-0 early start to this game as we get going here. All right, if you miss any portion of the show, you can find it. Oh, and the big announcement today. I forgot to do it. I'm going to send out the tweet now. We have a brand new, and I mean a really brand new, great, unbelievable partner now that we are welcoming. And we're going to be really excited. We have a brand new tequila. And over the years, I've had some good tequila companies that represent us. And now we have a big boy, Fletcher Azul Tequila. You might have seen Mark Wahlberg with it. You might see Mark Wahlberg around town pouring Fletcher Azul Tequila. 100% agave azul. Tequila Añejo, some of the best I've ever had. The ultra premium tequila, Fletcher Azul Tequila, proud partner of Raider Nation Radio. Really excited about that. We welcome this week Aspen Vodka, the official vodka of the Yankees and the Raiders, and now Fletcher Azul, which is a beautiful tequila. We had a meeting with the company and the staff, and they poured us a couple of beautiful drinks, and it was fantastic. So I always got Raider fans covered when it comes to tequila, because I know Raider fans love cerveza. We got Modelo. You love tequila. I got the tequila for you. So you always know where you can find it right here on Raider Nation Radio as we head into the summer. We're 20 minutes to go. The United States of America is up 1-0 as we start the show, and we're really excited to talk to you today. Chris Matthews will join us, the Dean of the Newsmen from 8 News Now, coming up here at the bottom of the hour. We'll talk to him, and then we'll get to Johnny Katz, who's going to talk about Kenny Chesney, some of the activations coming up here this weekend. Katz is everywhere. So when Johnny Katz knows, Johnny Katz comes on and tells us what's going to happen as we get going. So we'll take your calls coming up on the other side right there. So stick around, hold for me. We'll get out of here. We'll come back. We'll hear from some of our audience. We'll get to Chris Matthews, and we'll get rolling. The monologue brought to you by the DeCastroverde Law Group. You see their billboards all over, their commercials, the brothers. Orlando, Alex DeCastroverde, the brothers win. Brothers are always winning, but they're very humble about it. They're not running around with tank tops screaming with motorcycles, we're better than you. They're humble men from the great tradition of their father, but they win. Brotherswin.com.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by The Black Hole. Become a member of football's most notorious fans.
They motion everyone to the left, one-on-one for Bowers. Here comes the blitz. Chino sees it, lobs it towards the end zone. Bowers shoved to the ground.
Still got
made the catch.
Still got it.
Oh, my God.
Still
Bowers made the grab on his backside. One of the toughest catches you'll ever see. Brock Bowers on the turf, caught it with his one hand, and he smothered it into his chest. Wow! That is Brock to his prime, and that is a Raiders touchdown.
That is Raiders Radio. Jason Horowitz on the call. A Bowers touchdown. There is a hydration break going on at the World Cup, which is pathetic. It's pathetic that they stop these matches for a hydration break just to sell advertising or to do what they're doing. You don't have a break during a soccer game. You have a clock that runs. You don't have a break. They don't need a drink. They've been playing this sport forever. There's no hydration breaks. So for people who are saying, you got to evolve. No, you don't have to evolve. Stop touching our sports. Leave it alone. So I don't know if it's Fox's fault or not. It's not. I don't know. There's some conspiracy theories. Yes, it could break momentum. It could break momentum, and they don't need a break. It's soft as hell. Hydration break. You got to be kidding me. Do you know how many millions they're making during advertising during these hydration breaks? I'll tell you, I don't think this is going to happen in Europe. I don't think they're going to do it in the Premier League and the Bundesliga and La Liga. But they're doing it here. It's an absolute gross money grab, the hydration break. And for those people who don't agree, I don't care. That's what it is. It's a money grab. Period. It's just like when they want to end a baseball game and they want to put a runner on second base to get you home early. It's not part of the sport, and they're doing it. I don't like changes like that. Some of them I do, some of them I don't.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by Modelo Especial, the new #1 beer in the U.S.
All right, we're back. JT here in Vegas, all over on the Raiders mobile app. Chris Matthews joins us from 8 News Now as we are able to get him here. And he has a great weekend in store, I'm sure. Chris, my topic of the day, happy Father's Day. I know a little bit about your family. I'm asking everybody the impact your father had on you to get you into sports as a young boy. What are some of those memories that you have?
Some of the early memories, that's a great topic, too. It got me thinking about my dad. Not once in my life, JT, when I asked him, I took, a ball or a bat or the football to him and said, Dad, let's go play catch out in the yard or across the street. When he passed away in his eulogy, I gave the talk, and not once did he ever say, let's do it in a minute, wait a minute, let's go do it later, let me read the paper first, or let me do this first. He would always say, go get the glove, or, yeah, let's go. And he'd just he'd drop whatever he's doing, pick up the ball. We'd go out there and throw the ball literally however long I wanted to do it. It was never like, okay, let's wrap this thing up. It was back and forth across the street. And, when you're a little kid and you're thinking you're throwing it a mile, then when you grow up, you realize, it was just across a little neighborhood street. I was standing across in the neighbor's yard, and I thought I was hucking that ball for so for so long, and it was just there. But, not once did he ever say, let's do it in a little bit, or let's pass, or let's do it later. It was always pick up the ball, let's go do it as long as I wanted. Also, growing up in Salt Lake City, we went and watched games at Dirks Field at the time, the AAA baseball team. It was called Dirks Field. I still remember just kind of that whole feel of sitting down with my dad, watching him get the field ready, the music on the speakers, getting ready for the game to start. And you thought these players were the biggest and best players in the world. And then going to University of Utah games as a little kid. And he, in fact, some people might remember the name like Buster Matheny or some of these old players from the University of Utah that I remember watching and growing up, and Tiki Burton. So a lot of good memories. And then our parents would drop us off. Mostly my dad and mom, and the other dads and moms would drop us off at the Salt Palace, and we would watch the ABA Utah Stars take on Dan Issel or Artis Gilmore or Julius Irving coming to town. One of the parents would drop us off, our dad, then the other dad would come pick us up later that evening. So a lot of great memories with my dad, a lot of it involving sports, and boy, we spent every weekend water skiing out on a boat, and just had a terrific. I appreciate you bringing up that memory, because my dad was terrific that way, with never saying no and always wanting to go out and do some fun stuff and throw balls around and that. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, there's nothing better than hearing individuals talk about their mom and dad. It ties us back to sports. Chris Matthews joins us from 8 News Now. Look, you introduced Vegas to Mr. Bill Foley, I think, before everybody. As you were able to go up to Montana, you were able to tell the story about him bringing this team to Las Vegas. So you have tremendous resources to talk to him. And I just wanted to get your opinion on Torts not being back and now having a new coach, because the turnover's been pretty heavy at the coaching position for all these coaches that had winning records.
Yeah, it's an interesting situation with the Golden Knights. The average tenure in the NHL for a head coach is 2.5 years. So Vegas is kind of almost right on that mark, that edge of, coaches coming and going. It's not like in Colorado where you have Bednar there forever, whatever. So this is almost how it is with these coaches here in Vegas, and that's that win now, we'll do whatever it takes. I think personally, they were grooming Ryan Craig, who yesterday was officially introduced as a head coach of the Vegas Golden Knights. I think they were grooming this guy for a while. That coaches like Tortorella and Bruce Cassidy, I think after a while, and fans will know what I mean when I say they wear out their welcome, even though they are winning. I think there needs to be a change at time, even if the person is successful and well-liked. I just think there comes a time with some coaches where you kind of wear out your welcome. And I think that's kind of what happened with Cassidy, and the fact that they were kind of grooming Ryan Craig, who's been an assistant with the Golden Knights from the very beginning. 6 years as an assistant with Gerard Gallant, Peter DeBoer, and Bruce Cassidy, and then getting the head coaching job. McCrimmon mentioned it yesterday. You got to take these steps, these ladders, rungs on the ladder to get to the top and be an NHL coach. Someday you're going to have to be a head coach in minor league hockey. Well, that's what he did for 3 years with Henderson. Played minor league hockey for years and years, and then got to the second round of the Calder Cup playoffs with the Henderson Silver Knights. So I think that was always going to be the plan, that we're going to groom this guy for the next job. And Tortorella comes in and did a terrific job. Nobody's going to argue that. Did what he could, did what he needed to do, got this team within 2 wins of a Stanley Cup final. But I think they probably told him at the beginning, which he has said they did. This is we'll discuss this at the end of the season when it's all said and done. But you got to come in and kind of help the program, which he did. But I think it was always going to be, regardless, Craig's the guy. He's the guy that we're going to groom, and he's the guy that's got the job now. So you feel bad for a guy like Tortorella, the work that he did, and this was the most talent that he's ever had as a coach with this Vegas Golden Knights team. He just came in and says, "I'm going to kind of guide the ship," and that's what he did. Did a terrific job. He took a team that was literally 4 points from missing the playoffs. 7-0-1 to end the season. They win the Pacific Division. They go on and sweep the Colorado Avalanche and win the Western Conference again for the fourth time. This team is just like, we're going to win now at all costs, no matter what it takes. Now the big question will be, can Ryan Craig keep that up? He knows the guys in the locker room. He's been around almost all the guys in the locker room for years now, so we'll see what happens.
Wrapping it up with Chris Matthews. Chris, a couple of weeks ago, there was another push through the media of the NBA. What part of town would an arena be good? Man, I've been through that a lot, and I can't imagine how often you've been through it in this town where everybody gets up for a week, then it goes away, and you get ready for a new story on the NBA. What are you hearing going into Summer League? Because there's approval to explore expansion. Adam Silver made that comment with Vegas and Seattle. That means it's going to happen. The owners will approve it because of the enormous fee to launch a team, and they're going to all get paid. So they're all going to approve this, and we know it's Vegas and Seattle, but we don't know the location. Your ears on the ground here. Any new developments on that front?
Well, Mr. Bill Foley called me the other day, and which the news came out yesterday. He called me a couple of days ago and said, "Chris, is what's going to happen is now he's got Morgan Stanley behind him. He's a financer. He's been in finance his entire life. Foley has, so he's got Morgan Stanley behind him. They're the big finance. They're worth trillions of dollars. So he's got the money now behind him. That's all set. The money thing's ready to go. But one thing he did say that I thought was interesting is the NBA works on its own timeline. Where Foley wants to get things going. Let's get it going. Let's do it now. Let's move on. Let's get this project approved and going, and let's go. Or it's like the NBA kind of does things their way, and it'll be that way. But he's got the money now, the finance, and that's all set to go. We did hear that there's going to be a site for an NBA practice facility up in Summerlin. We do know that. And then for the next at least few years, when they get this team here, it'll be T-Mobile Arena, as they're putting $300 million into improvements and getting that thing all set now. With it being 10 years old, T-Mobile, get that ready, up to date for an NBA franchise to go in there. But everything seems to be on track from Bill Foley's standpoint, from his side. It's just the frustration of waiting for the NBA and how they move along. I did ask him also about the Magic Johnson Group, and he says, well, the Magic Johnson Group, that's a whole bunch of different money. That's all kinds of owners that are putting money together. Bill Foley's got a small little group, mainly him, that has the money with Morgan Stanley behind him, and he's ready to go. So I don't think it'll be long, JT. I always kind of thought that maybe around NBA Summer League, which is coming up July 9th, I believe is when it starts, that they would kind of maybe make some sort of announcement. But after talking with Bill Foley, I almost kind of think that because they just do things their own way, it might be delayed. So we'll have to wait and see. But on his end, he's ready to go. He's chomping at the bit to get this thing going.
Well, it looks like there's an offsides play, so it'll be a known goal. So I won't feel guilty that I took Chris Matthews away from the soccer game, as there wasn't a goal scored while our interview was here. But thank you, Chris. Always like talking to you every couple of Fridays. You always entertain us and keep us going into the weekend. Have a great weekend, and most importantly, have a great Father's Day with you and your family.
Yeah, you too, JT. Thank you very much for the invite, and you two have a great Father's Day, and appreciate you bringing up that memory of a father. Thank you.
You got it. That's what I'm trying to do today. Chris Matthews, the Dean of the Newsmen. If you want to call in on a topic, I'm not giving away gift cards today or anything else. No T-shirts, no koozies. I just have a pretty good topic because we're not going to talk until Monday on this platform. And if you have a memory of your dad on Father's Day relatable to sports, what was the greatest game you ever went to with your dad? What's the biggest memory you've ever had with your dad at a sporting event? Or how did he lead you down the world of sports? I would assume maybe if you didn't have a dad, or if you had a stepdad, or if your mom was front and center, we'll save that for Mother's Day. But for your dad, I think it's pretty obvious what your dad did if you're into sports, and especially if you make a living in sports. There's a lot of people that make a living in sports, and they talk about their father all the time. And my dad, I got to get home and see him a lot more now. It's just a priority. He's healthy. He's 88 years old. So I can't go 6 months without seeing my dad, or 4 months or 3 months. So whenever I get a chance to get on a plane during Raider season, I might be a Wednesday. I'll just be off, jump on a plane, go see him, and then come back on Friday. These are the most important years that I got to go do that, and I want to do that. So happy Father's Day to all the dads out there as we get going. Lines are open at 702-365-9200. They reviewed it. It is a goal. The United States are up 2-0. So they reviewed it. They review everything in sports, and now it is a goal. 2-0. The United States here. They had a set piece off the corner, kicked it out in front, and then a shot on goal, deflection, and a goal. So that's it. 2-0. 2-0 here. If the United States wins, they're guaranteed to advance into the knockout round. They pretty much should. That hasn't been much of a concern. But as we take a look at this goal, they were wondering if someone was offsides, and no one was offsides. Man, they micromanage offsides. But the kick was made initially, everybody was onside. And then when the ball went in the air, the header went in, it was a live ball, and you were able to do that. So really good start for the United States of America to get up early to go 2-0 here. The weather is great. The blue skies in Seattle at Lumen Field make for a tremendous, unbelievable, tremendous day as we get going here. Wow. You got to be excited today if you're in a sports bar, if you're watching at home, USA, and what this is going to do overall coming down the pipe here. Yesterday was the big adventure in New York City. I had two buddies who went, including my nephew, who went to the parade. Got mixed reviews. They don't know how to keep score who went. Some people are saying 4 million. Other people are saying 2 million. The mayor spoke. And the mayor is a very polarizing figure. Very polarizing figure. Just like the mayor of L.A. Very polarizing. So a lot of people were concerned about what the mayor would do at the Knicks parade. I thought he did a pretty good job.
But there is one thing that the pundits just don't get about this team, that they just don't get about this city. It is in that 0.4% that we go to work. It is in that 0.4% that Jalen Brunson, the same guy that so many said was too small, proves that not only is he good enough, he is the new standard for greatness. It is in that 0.4% that OG Anunoby watches the ball float from the top of the arc and start running toward the basket, fingers reaching towards the heavens. It is in that 0.4% that Karl Anthony Towns finds the strength to mourn his mother and still pull in rebound after rebound, make block after block. It is in that 0.4% that Jose Alvarado shows every kid growing up in public housing that a son of Brooklyn and Queens can win for every one of the 5 boroughs. It is in that 0.4% that Mitch breaks his finger before game 1 and says, go get the tape. It's in that 0.4% that Josh Hart gets rebounds that break teams, that McCall Bridges proves he was worth every single draft pick, that Landry Shamet pulls up from downtown, that every one of these 18 players transforms the franchise, that Mike Brown keeps this team believing. Most of all, it's in that 0.4% that the Knicks do what New Yorkers have always done when we are told something is impossible. We find a way. We win.
That is the greatest speech ever given by a mayor ever at a sporting event. He's not my guy. I'm not saying you should vote for him. You're probably not from New York. You might not like him. That is the greatest mayor speech ever, off the cuff, I've ever heard. He's a diehard Knick fan. He's trying to change the city. Some people are really fighting back and don't like it. Who cares? He was there for that parade to give the key to the city, and he delivered one of the greatest public appearances ever by a mayor at a sporting event. Most of the mayors have no idea what the home or away jersey is. Don't even know the rules. And he went in there and said, I'm going to give a speech, and he gave a speech of a lifetime. So I thought that was pretty cool overall that he was able to pull that off. If you're a Knick fan, I don't know who you voted for or not, but that was a joyous day. My nephew who went got there early. He's 6'7", my sister's middle child. So he was standing on the parade path, and he had an unobstructed view. So the videos he sent us were really cool, like the mayor, everybody coming by. That was really cool. But then I had another buddy who was on business, and he got up pretty early. He got up about 7:30 to go down there, and when he got to the spot to advance, they said it's closed. And he's like, what do you mean it's closed? This is New York City. You can't close New York City. And the cops said, no, we are done. We are at capacity. You can't go. And he was disappointed because he shaped his whole day around going to the parade, and they just wouldn't let him go for safety reasons overall. Colin, I don't know if you've ever been to a parade. A sports parade. I'm not a big parade guy. I've only gone to a few of them. I went to a Yankee parade once. That's it. How about you?
No, I wanted to make the 2023 Stanley Cup one. I was actually doing sports media just down the way on the I-15. I wanted to make it down to Vegas, but I had something come up. I wasn't able to get there. But other than that, I haven't got the chance to really witness one in person. There was a little bit growing up where the San Francisco Giants, I think it was 2012, 14, and 16, if I'm correct, they had a nice little run there. But again, I never got to make those parades, so that's something I'm still waiting to check off on my bucket list.
San Francisco's had great parades because of the cable cars in downtown San Francisco, the 49ers in their heyday, and then the Giants had one of the biggest droughts in the history of baseball when they won with Bruce Bochy, friend of the show. They had an unbelievable first parade out of their three, and the Warriors, for those who are in the Bay Area, Cisco, my guys who are here in the chat, the Warriors have had some pretty good East Bay parades that were fantastic. Down by Lake Merritt, going around the city there in Oaktown when they played at Oracle, that were pretty cool too. Parades are a life of love, just like going to see golf, and you want to see a golf tournament. It's tough to go to a golf tournament. A lot of times you can't see. You get to a spot in a golf tournament, you're waiting to see the golfers come by, and you get a glimpse of them. So now the reason why people are going to these golf tournaments is to go VIP. They get in the tents, they get the drinks and the service there, and they have a good time. All right, when we come back, hour number 2, United States about to score again. Wow, they just had a great shot on goal. Nice save by the keeper of Australia. The United States 2, Australia nothing. 51 minutes in to the first half here. So the first goal was an own goal by Australia. Second goal was a goal under review. They took the goal away, then they reviewed it, and they gave the United States the goal. So we are sitting here at 2-0, 52 minutes in here. There's 7 minutes of stoppage time, 7 minutes because of the review. So it's going I might be able to catch the second half of this game, the final few minutes with all this time out here. But nice that the United States can get off to such a good start. Big week next week. Monday. I'll be off on Monday. Vince Sapienza will be in for me. I'll be the MC for the Raiders Draft Class Luncheon. That event will take place at Allegiant Stadium. It's a corporate event, but all the years I go there, I see fans there from time to time. So if you're going to be there, please come and say hi. It's going to be a nice group who are going to be there. The 4 rookies that are going to be in attendance. 4th-round pick running back Mike Washington Jr., defensive back Kieran Crawford's going to be there. Traden Stukes, the safety, and our guy, Fernando Mendoza, will be featured at the Rookie Draft Class Luncheon brought to you by U.S. Foods and Ray's Coca-Cola. So that will be Monday as we roll along there. So that's fun. And then Friday night is Max Crosby's event. I'll be the MC for the Max Crosby Foundation event. That will be also at Allegiant Stadium. which I'm looking forward to helping out Max. I'll be on a call with Max this week, going over the run of show for Max Crosby's foundation, as it's back again, raising a lot of money for several different causes.
It's the JT the Brick Show.
You just get up every day and you take one step at a time and you keep going and you show up. We have a big mountain to climb, but we're not trying to do it all in one day.
Your silver and black home to sound off for over 25 years.
It's really important to me that we're a gritty team, that the way that they were back in the old days. It's nothing that we say, it's what we do on the field. All the little things that win that have nothing to do with scheme.
And now, here's JT the Brick.
All right, it's the final hour of the week. JT here at the beautiful studios of Raider Nation Radio, inside Lotus Broadcasting. We'll thank all of our partners coming up here, as we always do every Friday. USA 2, Australia 0. 2-0 lead for the United States. One of the goals was an own goal kicked in by Australia. Second one, a goal under review. They won the challenge 2-0. That's a nice lead. They should be ready to go. They should be ready to win in advance, get to the knockout round. Even though there's other games here, a win here will be great for Team USA. And if they win here, they will go in to the knockout round, and that's when it gets good. That's the elimination zone where you got to win to advance. You lose, you go home, and I'm excited. Next Sunday, not this Sunday, next Sunday, I'll be at SoFi Stadium with my son. We're going to the World Cup. We're excited. We don't know who's going to play yet. Hope we get a good match. I think we will. But we'll let that play out accordingly. I hope it's going to be good. Could it be Mexico, South Korea? It will be rabid. So we're going to go in father-son trip. Really pumped up for that. You know, I took my son to the World Series in L.A. with the Dodgers and the Yankees. Had a magical experience. I was there for the walk-off grand slam for Freddie Freeman. Ooh, that one hurt, but I had a really nice moment with my son, and hopefully we get a good World Cup game, one that will be remembered. Also, earlier this morning, I was on with the morning show. I sat in with them. We had a really good spirited conversation about the Raiders, Mendoza, the direction of the franchise going forward, so I'm excited about that. If you have anything that you want to add and you want to talk about, let me know at 702-365-9200 is the number, and we will get you here and get us going. So we're waiting on Johnny Katz. We're going to get him going here momentarily, and we're going to hear what he has to say about this weekend, which there's a lot going on here in town. When it gets this hot, it gets crazy. When it gets this hot. So there's a lot of things in Vegas that moves inside. Today, I'm heading over to AVP Resorts World. They're going to have the outdoor volleyball there. I don't know what the shade situation is going to be like. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I'm sure there'll be some shade there overall. And then a lot of other sporting events for the kids who play sports here in town. It's tough. You know, a lot of things shut down this time of year as we get to 108 and go higher than that. But John Katzlamides is our entertainment reporter. The neon work is brilliant, the Las Vegas Review-Journal. And we begin again, my friend, with Kenny Chesney coming back in full force, because from everything I'm hearing, his fans loved it, and there's overwhelming positive reactions to see him again.
Yeah, he's the first solo country artist to play the Sphere last year and did very well. And he said at the end of his run he was going to come back. And, he's reopening tonight. And I will see him tomorrow night. And there's a couple of very cool fan experiences. One is the free fan experience that is upstairs on the walkway toward Sphere from the Venetian that has all of his a whole lot of love, they call it, guitars, bars, and tiki bars. Guitar stores and tiki bars, and that has his merch and multiple bars and a place to hang. Even if you're not ticketed for the show, you can go up there and enjoy Kenny Chesney music, and it's a big Kenny Chesney hang. So he's here for 9 shows beginning this weekend, yeah.
That's a big part of putting on a show at Sphere, is to have that exhibit. And Fish did it. The Eagles do it unbelievable. It's got that Hotel California feel. And as you know, the executives who are behind the decision, the promoters, that's really something that's going to live forever, I think, here in Vegas. Dead & Company, I saw their exhibit, about as cool as I could ever imagine. U2 did it. So how important is that as bands are negotiating? I don't know if Backstreet Boys did something similar, but that's a big part of this.
Yes, they did. Yeah, they had their Backstreet Boys air terminal, airport terminal set up. Everything was themed for flight. You talk about the Troubadour that the Eagles had. They had an exact replica of the Troubadour bar that they hung out in. Dead & Co. No doubt had a big one with all of their throwback items from their days when they first formed as a band in Orange County. All their personal items were in there. It's a great way to draw fans to the facility, even if you can't, don't want to afford to go to it. You can still have fun there, and you can buy merch. They sell stuff, and it has become, like I wrote, it's become an unofficial competition about who can do this the best. And it's all part of the experience at Sphere. It's not just the show; it's the before and after. These places are open after the show, and when in Kenny Chesney's case, when he's not even on stage, it's open daily from like 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. I think every day.
How did No Doubt do overall? I thought I read something through you, and I saw on social media that every ticket was sold. The demand was there. They delivered. What was the overall appearance and the vibe of No Doubt as they wrapped up their residency?
They grossed in hard numbers. It was about more than $3 million a show gross, which was up among the top 5 ever at the Sphere. And they sold in hard tickets about 16.5 a night, which is basically selling out. You can go a little higher than that, but they consider that a sellout. So they did very well. I think everybody was impressed by the demand for No Doubt. I think everybody, No Doubt fans are going to be excited to see them reunite. This is the first time they played together in an extended run in 14 years. And but the fact that they were able to fill that place night after night and put on a show that was really fun, it had a lot of personality in it, and it was a very personal event. You could tell watching No Doubt that is a band that was formed organically. You can just feel that they played a lot of clubs, a lot of backyard barbecues, whatever, together, and they told their story very effectively. And I'll tell you, Gwen Stefani can still deliver. Wow. It was a really, really fun show. So, they hit another stroke of, call it what you want, genius, luck, or whatever with Sphere, but they have a hot hand right now.
They do have a hot hand, and I see, as you reported, the Rocky Horror Picture Show will come in, the success of The Wizard of Oz, 2 different experiences overall, but does Rocky Horror ever even consider going there if it's not for the success of Wizard of Oz?
I don't think that, you hit on something here. Wizard of Oz has a universal fan base, I think. Rocky Horror is a cult classic. And I know this about the people at Sphere. They're pretty smart when it comes to gauging demand and the prognosis of business inside that place by now. And there's a lot of reasons why you would say that Rocky Horror Picture Show wouldn't work. It's a grungy midnight movie, 1975 adult, campy, raunchy movie that is built for a specific audience. However, the people at Sphere have a way of figuring out how they can populate that venue and make the experience work for everybody. And I would expect we're going to see a lot of very cool live action out of this, like they do in Wizard of Oz with the flying monkeys and the apples and, the butterflies and all that. They'll find a way to deliver what is on the screen in the 75 movie and bring it into Sphere. What my question is, are you going to be able to pack rice? Are you going to be able to pack toast? Toilet paper,
right.
The rubber gloves, what have you, when you are going to Rocky Horror, because it is a truly, I said, the original immersive movie, that one. People get into it. They throw things, and they are active participants. So we'll see how they mix with the regular fans who just come there to see the Sphere.
Johnny Katz is our guest. You mentioned the people who are sharp behind the scenes. I got to give James Dolan a lot of credit. The Knicks win the title. He builds Sphere. There was a lot of questions about his financial stability as Sphere went over budget. It was a story I was covering closely because he's the owner of the Rangers, Madison Square Garden, and my beloved Knicks. And he took a lot of shrapnel the last couple of years, but I thought the edge came off of people having all this hatred towards him well before the Knicks when he did build Sphere. And everybody came out here and said, this is a marvel. Now the Knicks win. I'm sure he'll be out here for Summer League, as I see him all the time sitting courtside. And I hope that he does a victory lap. I hope they do an activation with the Knicks or something around that time, because James Dolan now has the premier venue in all of Las Vegas, and he's got the reigning NBA champs.
Yes, he does, and he's got his company owns Madison Square Garden. His company owns Radio City Music Hall, Beacon Theater, Sphere, NBA championship right down the line. And he was quoted extensively, by the way, in that Rocky Horror Picture Show release. People were wondering, James Dolan, does he really want to own this? He was very big on that, and I hope they do something for the Knicks here, at Sphere. I will tell you that he's an adventurous person. He thinks of things that nobody else would try. And as far as the finances of Sphere, we covered it too. And my thought on that is this is his risk. This is his money and his company's money. So what we are looking at here is how does it affect Las Vegas? And I've talked to the county commission, and they love Sphere because it pays brings a lot of tax revenue. A lot of public money comes out of Sphere in terms of the entertainment tax and in other areas. It's the most generates the most public money of any venue on or near the Strip. Tick Segerblom told me that last year. So, I'm fine with that. I'm good with that. If he wants to risk his money and we can benefit, that's a pretty good deal for Las Vegas as far as I'm concerned. And we get all this great entertainment, and it's the number one tourist attraction probably in the world right now.
I saw that you put out that the Carolina Hurricane had dinner at Catch at Aria. We all know they go to Omnia at Caesars. I know enough people in the know, and you know more, that'll tell us when the Knicks are coming to town. They could be at one of the day clubs. I would think this weekend. They just had their parade, so if they're coming, it should be now. But the summer season's here, my friend. Just give us an update on the day clubs, because Omnia opened a beast, uniquely patterned there right off the road on the Strip there, and I'm sure the rest of these day clubs are all competing, saying, how do we keep our VIPs and customers from going to another pool party, because it seems like the pool party wars are ramping up again.
Well, I will tell you what I'm first and foremost, Omnia Day Club has advanced the cause. And I would say, I think the next thing I want to cover is Steve Aoki out there on June 28th. That's going to be epic. And I will tell you that there's still, years ago with probably Wet Republic was the one that started over at MGM Grand, maybe 20 years ago, said that we want to take the club vibe from inside outside. And there are a lot of skeptics who are wondering, how are people going to want to spend thousands of dollars outside when it's 115 in Las Vegas? Well, we got our answer, and they're all over. We've got Encore Beach Club, we've got Live, we've got Omnia, we've got Tao Beach Club. I think, and if you're looking for the Knicks, I would start with Tao Group Hospitality. I think they're kind of like the league leaders in celebrations right now for teams. But there's a lot going on. When hospitality or when Nightlife is redoing Excess Nightclub, the indoor club, and that starts in earnest in July, and that means the outdoor deck is going to be very activated during that when the inside club, Encore Beach Club, is going to be very busy when the inside club is going. So, it's a phenomenon. What can I tell you? But Omnia at Caesars is the talk of the day club industry right now.
Thank you for setting up our weekend like you can only do, my friend. If I don't see you this weekend, I'll catch you in the next couple of weeks. Always appreciate you.
I'll see you at Sphere on Saturday, folks.
You got it. There he is, Johnny Katz, John Katsilamidis, the entertainment reporter in this town. And Kenny Chesney coming back. My wife went. She's not a huge fan. She likes Morgan Wallen country. She went to Kenny Chesney with some girlfriends, came home and said, oh, my God. It was fantastic. Fantastic. And that's how it goes. Word of mouth. Word of mouth. 2-0. We are underway in the second half between the United States and Australia. And I'll keep you updated on the scores before I get out of here. And Q comes up here at the top of the hour. We got a lot to cover there. Earlier today, I had a meeting here in the office early. I was in here about 8 in the morning. And I jumped in with Vince Sapienza and Vinny Bonsignore on the morning tailgate, and we chopped it up about the Raiders.
And joining us to kick off hour number 3 is, as I said, a mystery guest. And full disclosure, a mentor to me, a guy who, when I was an intern for Fox Sports Radio, I would do the overnights. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't do anything. I sat there, I took my notes, I figured out how they talked, what to do, what not. I didn't really do much, but I got credit. At the end of every show that I was on, this man across from me right now would always thank everybody in the studio, including the interns, me. And when he would say my name, Vince Sapienza, I would clip it. I sent it to my friends. I sent it to family saying, look, Ma, I made it. And now I get to introduce the great, the one, the only, JT the Brick. Join us on, you just can't get enough Raider Nation Radio, even in June, middle June, JT.
I'm knocking on doors early in the morning, and I pop by to say hi to you and Vinny and Colin, who's been working with me this week as Clay is out, and I love listening when I'm listening, and I'm excited to talk about what you guys are talking about with Fernando. You mentioned Silver and Black Productions. What a job they do. Most people don't understand that. Every NFL team has in-house production, right? They have a TV, podcast. No one has what the Raiders have. No one has the resources, the studio space, the programming that continues to come at you in waves. And I watched that behind the shield. That was pretty impressive.
It sure was, and they all are. And this one in particular, I think JT really struck a nerve because it goes right to the heart of what we've been talking about throughout this offseason in terms of everyone being on the same page, the work that they put in to make this a what is on paper, obviously, a spectacular offseason from free agency right on down to the draft. That obviously the headliner is Fernando Mendoza, but it goes pretty deep in that draft. So the behind-the-scenes look that you got to see from Brandon Yergin and Brian Stark and all the others that had a hand in helping John Spytek put together this offseason and put together that draft evaluation process of Fernando and some others. What were your takeaways from that?
The details, Vinny. I mean, we all knew they were taking Fernando. They probably did too, but they follow the process because they're building a new scouting department, which has turned over a lot, and a new department under John Spytek that's turned over a lot before he got there, and they want to do it correctly. So my big takeaway is even though you have the first pick in the draft, or you look at the NBA draft coming up here, you're going to have the top 2 picks. You look at the top 2 players and you do your due diligence on them deeply in case you don't want the number 2 pick, but now you learn about the number 2 pick because you're going to be competing against him for the next 10 years, and you want all the information. That's what Al Davis made his bones with. Al Davis, the legend of the Maverick that got him into the Hall of Fame and the Super Bowls, was he knew the players and the personnel better than any owner by far, and the majority of executives and GMs at the time. He just had a vast, deeper knowledge of the sport, and he had the resources of contacts, Vinny, as you know, all across the country, from colleges to black colleges to the league. He had moles on other teams. He had former players that were GMs on other teams that he knew when to call them and what to ask for. So I just think the due diligence of the Raiders after they went after Fernando Mendoza, and it just showed how buttoned up Fernando was because he knew that was coming, and how buttoned up the Raiders was. It's a really good piece for everybody to watch to see how diligent everyone was to make this right.
JT the Brick joining us here on the Morning Tailgate, Raider Nation Radio 920. I want to get your thoughts on the AFC West, but first, the genuine, sincere nature that you saw of Fernando in that FaceTime. Because you saw it. 2, you heard it in his voice. Oh, shoot. Hey, Mr. Brady. I mean, Tom, trying to keep it cool. You've met a lot of athletes in your career. Is there one in your formidable days, as whether you were still up and coming on radio, doing TV, whatever it may be, that you remember helped shape you in terms of seeing that the genuineness, because we're all kind of jaded at this point when we meet athletes, like, hey, good to see, it's another guy, especially here in Vegas. Like you throw a rock, you hit a celeb somewhere across the way. Any of those guys jump out to you?
Yeah, good question. I think the one would be Charles Woodson. When Woodson got drafted in Oakland, and I got a chance to interview him first and get to know him, and then Charles wasn't really buttoned up in the beginning. Charles was a big celebrity from the Heisman, was committed, kid to the Raiders, but, he was young and immature at the time, and I watched him grow into that and how he developed and the energy that he had as a rookie to finding out that he needed to commit more to his craft and learn more under Willie Brown and all the great legends at the time. That jumps out to me with Charles. But I'll tell you, Vince, the difference with Mendoza, and I don't know him well. We introduced him at the first day. I'm going to be hosting the draft class luncheon Monday, which he and 3 of his draftee teammates will be there, and he's just super humble, and he's a great kid, and he's the type of guy that you want to build a franchise around because he comes in with no baggage. A lot of first-round picks, number 1 overall picks, quarterbacks, have some baggage. They really do. They come into the league, they're world famous in college, and they're just not as committed. They don't have the right mentor, the right coach, and maybe they flame out or it takes them 3 or 4 years. Kyler Murray, good example, right? Kyler Murray, I watched him play at Oklahoma, Vinny. He was not a hell of a player. He was amazing, right? So my son went there. I went to a few of those games, and then he gets drafted by a bad team. And he doesn't have a mentor, and he doesn't have the coaches within there, and he kind of strayed for a couple of years. And then you hear about his video games, and is he really committed? And now he has to be committed in Minnesota. This is the last stop, most likely, of his career. So what I love about Fernando is it doesn't seem like there's any baggage coming in. He's all ball, and Vinny, he's going to be playing for a head coach that's all ball, no nonsense, and that's what I like.
Yeah, I completely agree. And the other part of it is, it's refreshing to see the aw shucks and all that kind of stuff. But don't even think for a second that that's who he is on the football field, because there's a transformation that happens with Fernando Mendoza when he gets between the lines. That's the practice lines. That's the meeting rooms. That's the the playing field. A switch goes on. He becomes a different person. And this is a guy that is a cutthroat competitor. We saw that in the championship run. We saw him bull rush, run over people to get to the end zone. There was no aw shucks, Mr. Brady and all that kind of stuff happening when all those bullets were flying. And I think that's what's so great. There is no baggage, but don't mistake any of that. And I know you're not, but I'm just saying, like, for the image of him that's out there, the kind of goofy kind of a guy, nothing can be further from the truth or different than when he gets on the field. And how excited are you going to be able to see that on a daily basis in practice when we get to training camp and then to games?
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. And look, I'm very honest. I might exaggerate. I've been known to exaggerate, but I've always been honest. And I still have not come to grips with him not starting week 1. That's me. Yeah. And I know other people have different opinions, and that's what's great about sports radio. I want more people with differing opinions than I have. And I'm just used to my whole career, even before I had a radio show, of number 1 picks overall starting. You throw them in the washing machine. They get tumbled around. Hopefully they don't get hurt. I watched Peyton Manning break the all-time interception record as a rookie. Then Baker Mayfield. You look at all these people that played, and you're like, but they had a year under their belt with all the trials and tribulations. That's not going to happen here. Something really unique happens in training camp where he just blows out Kirk Cousins. No one knows this Kubiak playbook on earth other than I think he knows it better, Cousins, than even Sam Darnold, who won the Super Bowl. Okay, that's how much he knows it. He just didn't play on a team like Sam Darnold did. So he has a big advantage, Kirk Cousins, with this playbook. He's not going to fail in training camp. He's probably not going to play much in the preseason. If he gets to start, it'll be fascinating here on Raider Nation Radio how the fans handle Kirk having an off game, throwing 2 picks. Do you give him another game? Do you put Fernando in? And then I'll throw it back at both you guys, because I know Q has different opinions. We all do. That, I don't want to wait till week 10. I don't, because that means week 1 is gone. Year 1 is gone. Other than meetings, which are really important, and the growth, I get all that. But, is it week 5, Vinny? Is it week 10? Is it week 11? None of us know. That'll be a fascinating topic that drives this channel for quite the time, I think the whole season.
Yeah, and I think that there's people in that building who fully expect Fernando to put himself right in the running to start day 1, flat out. I don't think there's any there won't be any hesitation to start him if that is the case. And there's people, I'm saying, that in the building are like, kind of fully expect that to be the case. So I'm not ruling out week 1, and I'm with you. With where the Raiders are, in their journey, I think it would almost be a waste not to play him this year, because I'm looking at 2027 as the year where things really like in a powerful way for the Raiders. They're really announcing themselves. So why would you wait until 2027 or late in this season and kind of not take full advantage of this year as a development year for Fernando Mendoza on the football field, not behind the scenes watching Kirk Cousins, on the football field, going through all those trials and tribulations to put him ahead of the curve so he's ready to go in 2027. All that ups and downs and growing pains and all that already happened. He's not have to wait for 2027 for that to happen. I think that would be my preference, and I think that there's people in the building that are going to be open-minded about, okay, if he's ready to go out there and acquit himself, and he's not going to get destroyed by the offensive line, we feel good about that part of it. I feel like they'll make that decision. Now we'll have to wait and see, because anything can happen in training camp one way or the other. But they are open-minded about getting him on the field as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and just a segue, and thanks for having me on here, guys. The one thing that I've been really passionate about this week, and it kind of came out of nowhere, the Knicks win the championship. I'm on a high. I went to Game 6. Golden Knights get shut out 3-0.
All right.
I go to the extreme lows. But, we're going back and forth with callers and talking. I'm really big on this topic with Mendoza going forward about turning the Raiders into a Super Bowl championship team. And I think with the wars that I go at with Kansas City, Charger fans don't fight back. They don't exist. And then you look at Denver. Denver's emboldened again. Denver's fan base is big. They're loud. They got a lot of momentum. Mendoza has to be great. We have Jim Plunkett's history. We have the history of the snake. Derek Carr was a very good player, really good. Didn't win in the playoffs because he didn't get the opportunity. This franchise will be reborn with Fernando Mendoza. Mendoza gives us in Raider Nation the opportunity to be great, to win multiple Super Bowls. You got to win one first to win multiples. Snake in the 5 AFC championship games, okay? Think of that. He was a third-string quarterback who had to go play in the Continental League and then come back and sit behind LaMonica, and Blanda played at times. When is Snake going to get on the field? He was ready, and then the rest is history. Mendoza gives us a chance in the Raider Nation to be better than the Chiefs in Denver in a couple of years. Not this year, but in a couple of years. And once he gets there, he cannot turn back. So when I look at the history of the number 1 pick overall, John Elway was benched in a 6th game. He was awful. Steve DeBerg went in for him, but it was his team. We take a look at the greats who had a chance to play number 1 overall, the all-time greats that came in. Peyton Manning, we mentioned. He struggled early. Super Bowl champions. He is in the same room coming into the pros as Elway, Luck, Manning, all the other greats who went number 1 overall, and many of them achieved greatness. He has to achieve greatness. He'll have the coaching, he'll have Brady, he'll have the ownership, he'll have the indoor stadium, the dome, not bad weather to play in. He'll have everything set up beautifully in the next 2 to 3 years to compete for multiple Super Bowls, and it's just got to be right. They got to thread the needle with this kid. I've been saying here for years, decades with the Raiders, threading the needle. Everything that's gone wrong now has to go right. Spytek, Kubiak, Tom Brady, Mendoza. And the core group of Mendoza, Bowers, Genty, and Linderbaum. I talk about a triangle, or if you take a look at a triangle or some type of shape of these, the core 4. The Yankees had the core 4. I believe the core 4 going forward for the Raiders are Linderbaum, Mendoza, Genty, and Bowers. They must play in Super Bowls. They must compete in AFC championship games, or this is an abject failure. This is it. Yeah. This is the moment where they have to be great in 27, Vinny, 28, 29, 30, where we go, man, this team's living deep in the playoffs like the Raiders were with Ken Stabler in the 70s.
Right, correct. And, I'm not going to say they got to win multiple Super Bowls. That would be great. But if you're in that conversation every year, look at the Golden Knights. They as much success as they've had, they've been one of, how many teams are there in the NHL? 30? So they've 32. Been one of 32. They've been one of 32 one time, having been there 3 times and being one of the best teams, a collection of all-stars, basically. It's tough to thread that needle. But for the Raiders right now, what needs to happen for this to not be an abject failure, what needs to happen is that they got to maximize the asset that Fernando Mendoza is, and by doing that, they need to win, and they need to be in the conversation year in and year out, just like the Philadelphia Eagles, just like the 49ers now, just like the Rams are now. They need to be one of those teams where every single year you look at that team and say, somehow, some way, they're going to play a factor in this. They're going to play a role in this. It doesn't mean they have to win multiple. That'd be great, and I'm not putting it past them to do that or shortchanging them in any way in that regard. But right now, the starting point needs to be get to that point where you are one of those teams that invariably you got to go through Las Vegas at some point if you want to go to that next level. So getting to that point requires them maximizing Fernando Mendoza, or else they don't have any chance anytime soon unless they do that. Unless Fernando Mendoza is every bit as good as Fernando Mendoza is supposed to be and is capable of being.
Well, I have no idea how good Fernando Mendoza is going to be. None of us do. I think we all think that his floor is extremely high, but the common denominator, JT, for me, with all those other quarterbacks, isn't necessarily the number one overall pick. That's great.
Yeah.
It's the mental fortitude that all those quarterbacks displayed and that everybody seems to talk about with Fernando Mendoza. Peyton Manning, all the interceptions. Troy Aikman, if you want to go back to 1 and 15.
Good example.
1 and 15, the mental fortitude. We can talk about toughness till we're blue in the face. We can replay. Connor can replay the clip of him flying through the air in the end zone. Awesome. Love it. It's the mental fortitude for me that why I believe Fernando Mendoza will not only have longevity in the league, but success for the silver and black, because he will not be deterred. He has not been deterred. He goes from Cal to, he's ascending to Cal to where he gets to Indiana, and he goes through some stuff. It might not be highs and lows of losses in college football, but he went through stuff. And every person that we've talked to that's either dealt with Fernando, Coach Fernando, has talked about his mental capacity. It was OTAs. Granted, OTAs, take it with a grain of salt. What I saw is something I've never seen a quarterback do. When he's going through his progressions, not only did he throw the ball, he continued his progressions. To me, he's visualizing. He's going through a level of preparation I have not seen, albeit a somewhat limited capacity, my time here in Las Vegas. But he is going through the mental hoops. And is he going to wrestle away the starting job from Kirk Cousins week 1? I think a lot of Raider Nation hope he does. Kirk Cousins is putting his foot in the sand right now and sitting there saying, this is my team, I'm going to command it, as he should. Anything else would be a disaster if you were Kirk Cousins. He was on this show during Super Bowl week sitting here saying, I did not have a better season than the one I did with Clint Kubiak calling the shots. So to your point, his excitement to work with him, through the roof. Great. It's on Fernando to not only be ready, but to be able to wrestle that job away from a guy who, as you said, knows this playbook like the back of his hand.
Yeah, I have no problem with Kirk Cousins starting the season. I mean, who am I? I think they're going to put in whoever they want to play, and Kirk's a really good player, and he's got to hit the ground running. I know we got to wrap this up, but if you look at the first 3 games, he's got to win 2 out of 3. Period. That's it. And New Orleans is much better than you think. They are in their building. They're better than you think. But the Raiders could beat them because the Raiders got 7 new starters in free agency. Miami, to me, nothing's a must-win. But you got to win that game. And then the Chargers, eventually, we're going to win, right? At SoFi at some point. Eventually, there's going to be a win there. But, I think all the fans understand that Mendoza is going to have some really big bumps along the way. There's going to be bad games. There's going to be, pick sixes. It happens to all of them. And we have to support this kid. Got to get behind him. He's ours. We're Raider Nation. Everyone in the country who doesn't like him or they don't like him because he's a Raider, that means there's got to be 5 other Raider fans that push those people off and say, no, he's our guy, which I like to talk about. And look, I think he's going to play at a really high level for a long period of time, but he's got to win. This is the moment. I know I've sat in this studio for 7 years. This coach is going to turn it around. This quarterback's going to turn around. I get it. This is different. This is the number 1 pick overall. He's a franchise-defining guy. This is the beginning of that journey.
What if the Raiders are 3-0? I mean, again, good problems to have. Champagne problems, right?
Oh, I would love that problem.
Yeah.
With that
JT.
With the schedule coming up after 3-0.
Week 5 through 11.
Yeah, I would love
Week
that start.
5 through. JT the Brick.
Thanks, guys.
JT, even on your off time, you can't help yourself.
It's good to be in the building. There's a lot of energy in here today.
You're the man, JT.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
How much fun was that? So I sat in with Vince and Vinny, and someday I will have a show with 2 co-hosts, so I'll be able to listen to them speak. So I won't have to speak. They were really good. I'm happy they let me sit in with them today. And I thought we had a nice round table about what's at stake here. What's at stake for Mendoza? And that'll be a big topic throughout training camp, because then when training camp ends, if he doesn't start, right, if he's not the day 1 starter, he's going to sit a while. And then the only time we're going to take calls on Mendoza playing is going to be from irate fans who want him to play. So we're not irate now. We're not freaking out. We're not losing our mind. We're not angry. It's summer. We're all enjoying ourselves. We got Kirk Cousins, Aiden O'Connell, and obviously a pretty good situation with Fernando in the wings. But he's one of us, as they say about soccer players. Harry Kane, he's one of us. Fernando Mendoza is now one of us. He's a member of the Raider Nation. Treat him with the respect he deserves. Everyone in the Raider Nation now knows he's the franchise's future. Get behind him 24/7, 365. We'll thank our partners and wrap it up next.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by M Resort Spa and Casino, the official hotel of the Las Vegas Raiders.
JT back with you. Breaking news from Adam Schefter. The Tennessee Titans and defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons have agreed to a 3-year, $35.3 million per year extension that includes $100 million guaranteed. Wow. $100 million guaranteed. He turns 29 in July with 2 years left on his contract. Simmons now becomes the first defensive tackle to land $100 million guaranteed. You got to think, what would Aaron Donald make if he never retired? Right? What would the bar have been with Aaron Donald? That is a massive, absolutely massive deal. We've had a chance to see him play a little bit up close. That's one hell of a player. Mario in Union City, my dear friend, my Yankee brother. How are you, Mario?
JT, I'm great, man. I'm listening. I always listen. I'm sorry I can't call like I'd like to, but congratulations, JT, the Knicks. I remember we used to take us to the Warriors game and the Knicks.
Yeah.
And you were kind enough to invite me, man. And ever since then, with Yankees, Raiders, Knicks, I'm very, very happy for you, man. You deserve it, you and your boys. My cousin and his friend flew out yesterday. They were at the parade, off the hook type stuff, man. JT, real quick, Father's Day. My dad's not with us anymore, but he used to work at the Hyatt. I think you remember that. And I was a very fortunate kid in the 70s and 80s to meet players like Biletnikoff and even Bella, all these guys. So, yeah, man. So I miss my dad. You have your dad and your parents. I'm glad they're doing well, and your family, Brick. I'm proud of you. We're friends forever. And our Yankees, when the Yankees go to the World Series, brother, you know where we're going. Back to New York, JT.
You got it, Mario. Great to hear from you. Keep in touch, my brother. Mario in Union City, a longtime friend, caller who became a friend, a really good guy. Really good guy overall, man. I haven't heard from Mario in a while. That's what I love about this, when I hear from people that I haven't heard from in a while. That's the best part of this job, and making friends. Is it Scott? Who's next? Scott, thanks for waiting. Appreciate your call. Go ahead.
Hey, JT, Scott from San Carlos, trying again.
Thank you.
Don't know what happened last time, but of course, man. Yeah, great. Hey, first of all, super quick, congrats on the Knicks.
Thank you.
As a longtime Warrior fan, I know what it means to wait a long time. So all the best to you. And that was a great series. That was one of the best. I said to my buddy who's a Knicks fan, that's why we watch sports, in my opinion. That we just had all the drama, the backstory, great games, the whole thing. So I just had a couple quick things. One on the conversation you were having with Vinny is about Mendoza starting. To me, because you bring up a lot of great cases of guys who went number one overall or really high and started. I'm great with that. I think that's great. I'd love to get him on the field. I also think about guys like David Carr or even Plunkett, where they just got murdered.
Right.
And then you wonder what kind of toll that takes on them. What's their, you know what I'm saying, like psychologically. So I just think it really boils down to not just the record, but like as long as the kid can actually have a chance to compete, then I'm all about it. But I just kind of, with the schedule this year, it just makes me a little nervous about how that would go. And then the only last thing I was going to say, you were talking about asking about your dad and their influence. So I'm adopted.
Okay.
And I was born and raised by family in the East Bay, and I got adopted when I was 9. And unfortunately, I love my dad, but he's from Denver.
Okay.
And so that didn't work out great in terms of most of our sports. We ended up arguing a lot. But the one thing I will say that I do appreciate, he was a huge motorsports guy. And without him, I never would have gotten into F1 or Indy or anything like that. So that was the positive. But yeah, we did a lot of arguing about the Broncos specifically.
Well, those are memories you'll have. Thanks, Scott. I got to run. Appreciate it, man. I know that means a lot to you for you sharing that with me. A lot of people have a heavy heart because no matter what your age is, if you lost your dad early or if you lost your dad, I don't know what that pain feels like on Father's Day. And having an 88-year-old dad, I'm lucky. I'm very blessed, and I appreciate that. When we come back, we'll thank our partners, as we always do on Friday. We'll set up next week. Next week, I got a pretty big week here, which I'm excited to tell you about, plus good shows. Q Myers joins us at the top of the hour. You'll catch Q coming up here before he takes a much-needed break. Well-deserved. And we'll keep rolling on the flagship of the Silver and Black. Brought to you by M Resort Spa and Casino. 2 towers are better than one. M Resort.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by the DeCasta Verde Law Group. If you get injured in an accident, call 702-222-9999.
I want to thank everybody. I'm proud of everybody for helping accomplish this great feat. The energy today and all around New York is off the charts. And I want to thank you all for it. Let's keep this energy going, baby, because this championship is about you guys. This is New York City's championship. Without you, this wouldn't be possible. Let's go one time. Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? I love you, New York.
All right, that's Mike Brown. I've been giving him flowers for a month. I did not think he deserved the job. He got the job. He won the championship. I'll own that. I'll do that every year. I'll go harder on Aaron Boone. And we want our teams to win. My team won finally 53 years. My whole career. Never had a chance. Not a chance like that. Congrats to the Knicks. Excited what's happening around here. So Monday is the Raiders draft class luncheon. That happens every year. We bring out 4 draft picks. They sit down on a couch with me. We do a Q&A. We get to know them. It's just one of these get to know the players. Fernando Mendoza is obviously a massive draw, the number 1 pick overall, but there's 3 other gentlemen there that will get equal time, if not more, to learn about them. That's Monday. Then Friday night is going to be an evening with Max Crosby's foundation. That will also be at Allegiant Stadium. And then I'm wheels up, heading to the World Cup. I'll be going on Saturday morning to the World Cup with my son to see a game at SoFi, which I'm excited about that. So this is going to be fun. Next couple of weeks here, it's going to be hot. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. And we won't have any NBA, any hockey, No NFL, and I mean none. They're on vacation. Football's on vacation. From Park Avenue to the Raiders, they're on vacation. They're not like kind of just mulling around. They're gone. And then we come back, a couple of weeks, little summertime radio, some interviews, and then we'll get back for training camp, and we'll be excited about that. I want to thank our partners. There's 3 new ones that have started with us now. Flowing Tide, the pub, the tavern group's amazing. They officially jump on with us here in a couple of weeks, but they're in the system. We want to thank them. A great tavern group. Unbelievable food and service. We thank Aspen Vodka, our newest vodka, brand new to the show. They're the official vodka of the Yankees and the Raiders. That's a big deal. Those are 2 big brands. Fletcher Azul Tequila, also proud partner of our show. We locked that down, and we're really thrilled by that. The Black Hole. I don't have a show without the Black Hole. The Black Hole, football's most notorious fans. If you'd like to become a member of the Black Hole, they will accept you. For a small fee, you can go to theblackhole.com, get your gear, your shirt. You'll get the discounts, the hotel rooms, and all that. You should do that. Boyd Gaming, 10 local properties here in town. Always bet on black. Modelo. Bucket of Modelo's Friday. We're always talking Modelo. The fighting spirit of Modelo. Have a couple of Modelos and drink responsibly. The DeCastroverde Law Group. Alex and Orlando DeCastroverde. Brothers Win. BrothersWin.com. The Finley Volvo Cars Group of Las Vegas. Right there on Rainbow and 215. A beautiful car dealership. One of the nicest I've ever been in my life. Go in there and check out all the brand new Volvos, the pre-owned, the EVs, all of the unique cars they have. One of the best sound systems and safest vehicles on the planet. M Resort, Spa and Casino, 2 towers are better than one. And Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love. Raising Cane's, man. My kids love Cane's. It's the perfect fit for me because there's always Canes in my house because my kids are Caniacs. And thanks to you, Colin. Great job this week, People who work with me, they don't work for me, they work with me. Always go on to some really cool stuff. I've had some great, unbelievable producers and board ops who are now program directors or working and doing some other things. You're going to be with us, and I'm really happy that we work together. Outstanding job this week.
Thank you, JT. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you bringing me on to the team. It was a great time.
Absolutely. You're a teammate. Everybody in this building, we work together as a team. Q's coming up next, and he's going to have a big show lined up for you. I'm going to try to watch the last... What is it? There'll be some stoppage time, so the last 5 minutes by the time I get home. And as long as there's not a meltdown here. Don't want a meltdown. 2-0. 2-0 USA over Australia. But they're pulling the goalie. They got everybody down in the zone. Got to be careful here. I'll see you back here on Tuesday. I'm working Father's Day on Mad Dog Sports Radio Sunday, 9 a.m. to 1. Monday's the draft class luncheon. Vince Sapienza will be in for me on that day. We'll be back on Tuesday with big shows the rest of the week. Thanks, everybody. Happy Father's Day. If you have the incredible opportunity to be with your dad, celebrate it. If your dad's no longer with us, we wish you the best with your life. And I'm sure your dad's impact has shaped you to the man you are today and the lady you are today. Have a great Father's Day holiday. I'll see you back here on Tuesday.